So no matter what you go through, just know you're not alone. You might have to walk a lot of this path alone, and we do. Our spiritual path is something we all have to walk alone for a good bit of the time, because that's just what we're here to learn ourselves, but we're also here to connect with others and to help them learn and find that light like we are supposed to. But don't be discouraged. Don't let you have the power inside of you to make every situation either be horrible or beautiful. You know, your car is breaking down, you know, you're getting the flu, you're getting this and that. It all sounds like, oh, it sucks to be me, you know, this is awful, but we have the power inside of us through God's light to change all of that. With literally a thought, we can change and see the beauty in everything around us. And it is absolutely the greatest thing. If you find it, when you find it, I pray that you do. If you're watching this, wherever it may be, if it is anywhere, you will find that light one day. Now, you're probably still, most people don't find it, I don't think, until like even their 50s and 60s. I was looking at a bunch of studies on happiness in people, and for some reason, you start out pretty happy, you know, you're like about right here, and this is when you're a child, and then about your teenage years it starts just going down and down and down until you're in your 30s and 40s, and that's when you have that midlife crisis. That is the lowest point, and that is also the farthest away from God that you can get, because you have been thinking, oh, I've got it all figured out, or I don't have it figured out, I'm scared, I'm just going to hide in whatever comfortable place I can find, my safe space. You have the power inside of you to seek God and to find Him, and no matter what suffering you have, you use that as a key to unlock the door that leads you to your own divine wellspring that gives you endless light, endless joy and peace. You know, you're not always going to be happy. Nobody's going to ever always be happy, but you can always have that peace. And I'm not scared of death anymore. That was I think that's the biggest fear for most people. I'm not scared of death at all for me. You know, I would obviously be scared for my children, but that's just because that's my job to protect them. But I'm not scared of it because I know for a fact that there is something after. I don't know exactly what it is. I have some ideas, and they could be completely wrong, but I know there is something. You know, there's things to prove that. You know, even in science, energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only changed. They have shown scans of people at their time of death of their brains, and seconds after their death, their heart stops, their brain lights up like they're literally trying to have a chess match and run a marathon at the same time. It's just lit up to the max. It is beautiful what we don't know and what you haven't found yet. And when you find it, everything will be different. And I can't wait for you to find that. That is what brings me extra happiness now, is to guide people to that point. And it's my purpose. And fulfilling my purpose is what brings me even closer to God. And so all my struggles I've been through, it may not even be as much as you've gone through. And if you have gone through more, you know, God bless you. But you have a step up. You have a leg up now. You have a head start on that race to find God, because that suffering is what, unless God needs you right now for a specific purpose before your time, before you go through all the suffering in life, you could have a near-death experience or whatever, that lets you find God, but you still will not be to the point of those who suffered, because you will have to still go through that suffering. That's a lesson we all have to learn, how to overcome that suffering and overcome that darkness. It's just even somebody who has had a near-death experience and found secrets about the afterlife that we can't imagine, they will still have to go through more and more suffering until it's enough that they understand how to overcome it and how to turn that into something beautiful. That's, some may say it's a sad reality, but I don't want to see people going through suffering. It's hard to watch anybody go through suffering, even people you don't like go through suffering. You don't want that. But when they finally overcome it and they see how to capture that beauty in life, that is miraculous. It truly is. One last thing, I guess I'll try to post this somewhere, but or not, I don't know. I'm not really looking for attention, but I am looking to help people. I've lost a lot of great friends, and most of that's been my fault. After my back surgeries, I felt so sorry for myself, and I couldn't go out and do things. I've been standing here for like 10, 15 minutes. My back is already getting shot. I got my walking stick. I'm gonna go walk around as much as I can until I don't really feel like walking anymore. But I can't go sit in a chair to have a dinner, or else I'll just start too long and I'll be in so much pain. I can't go out and have a good time like I used to. I used to love going out and partying with all my friends or doing whatever with all my friends. It's different now, and I'm not going to say I regret. I miss my friends, and I want to reconnect with all of them, and I want them to see what I've seen. And I don't know if they'll believe me. I actually wrote a message to one of my friends, trying to kind of describe what I've been going through. He read it and didn't respond, so we'll see what happens. But I want to talk to all of them, because I want them all to feel this elation, this light. I don't want them to suffer, and that'll end the suffering when they find that light. They'll still go through the hardships, and that suffering will be there still, but it will be a tiny bump in the road instead of a canyon. And I miss all my family and friends and everyone that I've kind of shrugged off to go on this kind of journey alone. Yeah, that's easy to say. This journey alone. It's something we all have to go through alone, and we have to walk that thing alone, but we can connect with others. We're here to connect with others. We literally cannot survive unless we connect with others. Think about it. If your solitary confinement is a torture according to almost everyone, it's awful. You put somebody away from others, even the other prisoners they need to connect with. Even the prison guards they need to connect with. Even if they're all awful people, they need to connect with them, because that is what we are here for. We are closest to God when we are children, because our souls are like children. It's like a trillion-year-old child who just wants to explore, go play in the streams and go play in the ocean and on the mountains, and they are not tainted by all this garbage that we go through on a day-to-day basis. They're free. And that is when I said that happiness dips, when it goes down to the midlife crisis, then that is when we are kind of set free to go and explore on our own. Kind of like the Amish go through something called Rumspringa, I think I'm saying that right, where they have to go out of the Amish community where everything is, comfortable for them, the life they know, and they have to go out in the real world they call the English world, and they have to go and experience that life and decide whether they want to come back and be Amish or not come back at all. And that's what we go through from about our teens, when we start feeling depressed and like, goth or whatever you're into, and until about whenever we have that awakening, anywhere from, it can happen at any age, but usually it's, 40s or 50s or even 60s. And that is when, if you look at that chart, I mentioned that study earlier, the happiness goes from the lowest at the 30s and 40s to higher than it's ever been, even higher than when we were a child, the happiness of a child, because that's when people find their faith in God. And that's when they find something different to help them. Do you think a 60-year-old should be happier than even a 20-year-old or a teenager? No way. You would think, oh, your body's falling apart. I can't even imagine my body at 60 if I make it that long. My body's already falling apart. But if you make it that long, then you will experience happiness and peace like you've never understood before and you never thought possible. And you thought, oh, well, those people who say that they have that, they're just full of shit, they're not really, feeling that. They're just trying to get attention or this and that. It's not true. For some will be pretending, but it is a miracle.